Yeah, I knew that. I remember, I had to how many years ago? I remember your.
Literally, you know, it sounds distant when you first say it, just think, we're thinking, it's not a far away to see.
Yes, it is, you're right. Yeah. That's okay. And then, Robbie's. Oh, okay. Oh, do you? You want to put that in your car, you think? Yeah. Long time.
Well, it was more than five, even lower.
Oh, yeah.
Because three was lower.
Yeah, six would have been.
Joe, Frank, and Barbara. Did you, she's some of her students. keeps everything the same. The executive secretary, she takes care of everybody, she makes sure all of our goals are in there. We even have a board that is That's true. Long time ago.
That's perfect. Perfect. I think I'm trying to get everybody to get it. Okay, I'll let you look at it too. Is that okay? Look. Thank you. You are. The archive.
Thank you so much. That's what they are.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Rotary Club of LaGrange. On this first day of February out of 2023, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation to be given by Rep. John. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us bow our heads. Very graciously, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time. We just thank you for our friends, our fellow Rotarians, our acquaintances here today. Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting. We ask that you bless this food and nourish our bodies. Help us to remember our daily blessings that you give us. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Rhett, and Scott will introduce our guest.
Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest today, hopefully some future members as well. So as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I call through the list, and then we'll welcome you. First on my list is Norma Bird. Norma's a guest of Susan Ferguson, and she's with Scoops downtown. So visit Scoops.
Everybody's new best friend.
That's right. We also have Kim Smith back again, guest of Susan Ferguson, hopefully a new member coming up. We also have Sharon Alford, guest of Patty Youngblood. She's with United Way. We have, I didn't say Kim Smith was with Cisco. I'm sorry about that. We also have Lou Ratcliffe, guest of 10 Mile, retired from Goodyear downtown. And finally, George Benet, who is with the Griffin Rotary and is our district governor. Welcome.
Thank you, Scott. This birthdays and anniversaries. Jeff Wright was yesterday. Bill Honeycutt today. Bill Bowling this Friday. Where's Bill? Bill, where's Bill? Okay, Friday, right? Friday. All right. Y'all wish him a happy birthday. And Jeff Lucan is Saturday. 12 anniversaries. Jim Thornton was 21 years on Monday. Colin Cross was 4 years on Monday. George Henry will be 26 years this Sunday. Trey Long, 9 years also this Sunday. And same 9 years for Shirley Pennebecker. Wedding anniversaries, let me know if I mess these up, but Jeff and Shirley, I've got one, 56 years. This Saturday the 4th. Brandon and Tracy Ely, 21 years tomorrow, and Jake this Sunday, 18 years. Very good. A couple announcements, a quick board vote. Immediately following this meeting, we'll just come over here, stand somewhere, and do a quick board vote. So any officers or board members here, please stick around for that. On your table are the nominating committee's slate of officers for next year. So you see Tripp Penn for president, Connie Hensler, president-elect, Scott Landa, president nominee, secretary Holly Winner, and Trey Long repeating as treasurer. Congratulations, Trey. On your table is this list of names and also a place for any nominations from the floor. So if you would, I know you're all aching to get your name in the pool. So if you'd like to nominate yourself or someone else, please feel to write that in and just leave it up here on the table for me. Okay. Another quick thing, as you know, we're in our 100th year. This is a clipping from our 75th year anniversary newspaper in the LaGrange Daily News that year. And this is another one. And in this one, it talks about our close relationship with LaGrange College. And it talks about in the 75th year anniversary, we instituted Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship. We've had a very long, we've got Dr. Henry, Walter Y. Murphy, on and on, all the way down through Susanna, who's in our club. And this Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship, we have a special meeting every November to commemorate that. We just did that recently. And the reason we do this is because, and I don't have to explain, because you've seen these kids, young adults, they've come perform for us, we see them speak, we see them talk, we interact with them at Rotaract. You interact with Rotaract, right? Okay, good. So you know what that school is all about and the kind of students they have. And so the reason we did that scholarship is because there's no better way for us to have a long-lasting influence, positive influence on our community and the world than making sure that the students that need help get the help they need to come to this school and progress. Because for years and years, when they go out, they will take what they've learned in that school from those wonderful professors and spread it out wherever they go. So if you haven't been meeting some of those students, I'll show you some pictures in a minute. As part of our 100th year anniversary, we have trying to reach another goal of raising $300,000. And Mark Davis has already explained this. And so we're supposed to raise $150,000 and and Callaway Foundation match the other $150,000. We are within $50,000 of meeting that goal, and we would like to meet it by September 27th of this year, which is our 100th year anniversary. So as part of that, there exists in the world 35 of these things, and these are commemorative silver dollars. On the left side is a 2023, a 1923 piece silver dollar, and that's one of the coins in this set. And on the other side is a 2023 silver eagle. So there exists, like I said, in the world 35 of these. 2 of them have already been given away, so there only exists now 33 left to be given away. For everyone that donates $1,500 to the Walter Y. Moultrie Scholarship between now and our anniversary in September, you will receive one of these to have forever and ever. So that's part of our goal, is to meet that, get that final 50,000 in, so we get the full 300,000 to the Walter Y. Moultrie Scholarship this year. Just to show you some of the kids, these are some of the current Rotaract members with which we interact. And if you want to know more, talk to Barbara. Wonderful, wonderful students. I mean, this is just incredible. They did a recent cleanup over at Lexington subdivision after the tornado. Okay. So at this time, so 33 of these, donate $1,500, you get one of the sets of the silver dollars. District Governor George is here for a reason, not just for the good food and just to say hi to everyone, but he actually has a presentation, so come on up.
Last year, your club donated to the Rotary Foundation. You're one of, and Ken, you can come back. You're one of 3,500 clubs to become 100% E-rate club, which means you had $100 per capita per member with 100% participation. Let me forget that. We're also 100% foundation giving, which also averaged $100 per capita. And that was only one of 4,500 clubs in the Rotary International do that. And I will tell you, you were only one of 22 clubs in District 6900 to be either 100% E-rate or 100% foundation giving. Well, thank you for your donations to the foundation. It helps us do, as you know, good works in our communities as well as around the world. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your help. Thank you.
The bell rings and the angel gets its wings when we meet that $100. Okay, we have a few seconds for Happy Dollars. I know that Mike has an announcement and a plug to make, so come on up, Mike. Anybody else has any Happy Dollars, please come on up.
Well, I missed last week, but I saw that Dante announced that he was running for king of Behind the Mask. And that event is going to be this Saturday night. You can vote for king or queen of Mask up until noon Friday. I'm going to ask you to consider a queen, and she's a lot cuter than Dante, and it's my daughter. Gotcha. So Greta Cork is running for Queen of Mask. If you're attending the event, or if you care to support her at $1 a vote, all those votes go to benefit Twin Cedars. And hopefully both Dante and Greta will be in the Crew of Mask Parade December 11th. And we want to go out and support that as well. So it's Mardi Gras time. Let the good times roll.
Update on Mardi Gras season. First of all, I'd like to second the idea of voting for Greta and Dante. I would say you should pull out your checkbook, make it a check out to Twin Cedars, give it to Dante, and let him turn that in at the last minute so you can give a search. That's one strategy that happens sometimes. Greta, I've already voted for, so we may have to king queen that. Behind the Mask Ball is this Saturday night. So it's a very good event, very, very nice food, it's a wonderful event. The Saturday after that, February the 11th at 7 o'clock is the parade. So this weekend, we've got the ball going on, Twin Cedars. Next weekend, we've got Crew of Mask Parade. And I would like to have help in launching the parade, show up down at the skate park, South Bend Skate Park, around 6 o'clock. Help get people in position. And then, take a walk up the hill, go to Marriott, and wait and see the parade and catch some beats and stuff. And I'm the king and queen, you will know. And we are going to toast the city and everyone there. And hopefully we'll have a nice get together at Marriott. Thanks.
Technology is one. I'll let you figure that out. Okay, I'm going to introduce the program. It's being brought by Philip Abbott, the son of Hildad and Wayne Abbott. He's been an entrepreneur in the LaGrange area for many years with a focus on the downtown area and, of course, surrounding communities. He's another one of those graduates from UGA in 1995 and has lived in Atlanta, Athens, Southern California, and traveled around the world for both work and fun. He's fluent in Spanish and has worked with people around the world on a myriad of projects. He brings a forward-looking vision for the community and business development growth in our area to benefit everyone and help make LaGrange a great place to live, work, and play. He's currently the owner and operator of the Abbott Business Group with its varied business interests from technology to hospitality to business services, and the corporate headquarters is on Main Street in downtown LaGrange. Come on, fellas.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here to talk to you today. I've talked to some of you individually about this particular project and other projects that I have. I grew up in LaGrange. We moved here from Manchester in 6th grade. So I started out in Troop Junior and then Holliston and then went to Troop Junior. And then I ended up at LaGrange Academy from 8th grade on. So I definitely, again, grew up here and enjoyed growing up here in LaGrange. Went to UGA and really had a great experience there. And then when I moved to California, I lived there for 2 years. I was living at the beach, working for a technology company with the best of the best around the world. It was a great experience. But I had to make a decision, and that decision weighed on my heart. Do I want to come back and be near family and friends and where the roots are and have 4 seasons as well, because they don't have 4 seasons. And so, and take over the family business and continue that legacy. And I made that decision. It's been almost 20 years ago. But it was the best decision I've ever made, and I really, I'm glad to be back here and be doing the things that I'm doing. Me and my family have had a passion for the downtown area and the surrounding communities for multiple generations now. As you know, my dad did one of the first buildings renovated downtown in 2003 with the Abbott Building before the parking deck for the movie theater. And we applied for some of the downtown redevelopment funds and did that through the state. And so it was a good experience, and that became, our corporate headquarters for all the different businesses that we have and run. He was an accountant, and I was more of a technology guy, but he was an entrepreneur, and he started multiple businesses, including the technology one that I eventually took over. And as a lot of you probably know, he passed last year, and so I'm continuing that legacy and continuing that mantle and trying to make LaGrange do my part to improve quality of life here and opportunities and really be a part of the community. So anyway, with that being said, I want to talk to you about downtown LaGrange and all the things we have to be proud of with downtown LaGrange. We have the hotel for a few years now. Beautification efforts have been great. Tourism has increased, and then we're all looking forward to future Southside development with, I believe, Nutwoods opening their downtown winery, the new apartment living, get people actually living and participating on a daily basis with downtown. I'm very excited about that. I've lived in other communities, whether it's Athens or Atlanta or California, where they've had these walkable type communities, and I can tell you it's a great experience and it makes you proud of where you call home. And so I think we're moving in that direction and trying to create that here. Calumet is one of the neighborhoods surrounding downtown, and there's been some studies. We did the 2017 study on what used to be there, what future possibilities. We've been doing some green space improvements in that area. And so there's been some redevelopment beginnings in that neighborhood. So where do we go from here? How do we take downtown and the surrounding communities? How do we move forward? And so that was the question that I posed and have been posing to myself ongoing, is what can I do and what can we do to make downtown and the surrounding communities a better place to begin? That is so good, and not only do we enjoy them, but they attract people from surrounding areas because they want to see what it is we're doing. So what I'm proposing and what I'm working on is a mixed-use diverse marketplace. A lot of you may have been to Prague Street Market in Atlanta or Ponce City Market in Atlanta. So Ponce, I think, was about 5 years ago or so they did that. And so the great thing about that is most people, when you tell them that they've been there, they understand kind of what it is. And so, of course, I want to create our own vision with our own personality, but those things can be inspiration for us to create our own mixed-use diverse marketplace. But what they've done is they've taken an old industrial site or an old site that used to be, retail center or industrial, and they've redeveloped it with outdoor spaces, mixed use from living to office space to retail, restaurants. And so that's what I was looking for in a place. Where could we do that in LaGrange? And when you look at the downtown LaGrange, there's not a lot of industrial sites right by downtown LaGrange, but one of those that came across was the Newman Lumberyard, and it's right across the railroad track from current and future Southside development. So I started to look at that, and I also am in the office space business, so we needed more office space downtown. And so I approached Ideal Electric about potentially buying their building initially for office space, but then the potential of the rest of the property and the surrounding properties of what we could do with that to add on to the Southside development. So what the name we came up with was the Rail District. So the only other rail district that I could find anywhere in this area with that name is in Fresno, Texas. So when you name something or give it a title, you don't want it to be confused like where it is. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. And then the inspiration from the historical aspects of it being by the railroad tracks and near the old train depot. So it just seemed to be a good fit for what we could call this area. It's not just one building, it's not just a group of buildings, it's a whole area, if you will. And this right here, and I hope you can see it okay, is our master plan, which of course is ever evolving. But the bottom area is the Newman construction property with the multiple buildings that it has. The top part is the vacant lot and the potential things that we'd like to put there. The yellow squares are other property in the area that could be used for mixed-use development. So let me go over here and show you guys something related to that. So this is a zoning map of that area. So back in the day, that used to be an industrial, commercial area. So the great thing about it is all the zoning is really already correct to do what we want to do with the mixed-use marketplace. You don't have to change any zoning. You can, again, this is commercial, that's general industrial, this is all neighborhood commercial. So one of the hard parts of redeveloping areas sometimes is you have to change zoning, you have to really do a lot to do that. But this, in this case, there's an opportunity to redevelop without having to do that rezoning. Another good thing in this area is there's a lot of actual vacant lots. So you're not even displacing anything that's already there because, again, it's not even being utilized fully. So anyway, this map shows the zoning in a nutshell: red commercial, orange general industrial, and yellow neighborhood commercial. And here is a concept drawing in 3 dimensions of how that could look. So you'll see, if you look in the back there, that's the Newman property with the multiple buildings. To the left is what we're calling Depot Station right now, which would be a restaurant in the front and event center in the back, and then parking across the street with a park to your right there, if you can see it. And then you can see the Newman building itself proper to the right there. So one of the goals is for this district, this area, to be a bridge between downtown and Calumet. So Calumet has their own initiatives, and there's lots of neighborhoods in that area. That's a great thing. So if we can bridge that divide between downtown and Calumet and provide this anchor retail and mixed-use space, then we can encourage the interaction between the different areas. The Thread also has plans to go through this area, so that'll continue and also extend the ties between downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods. And then also, again, it's an extension of what's already planned for the South Side development. So it would be a great bridge, again, that would help between those 2 areas. Here's another item that's dear and dear to my heart is diverse business opportunities. If anybody's been to Prague or Ponce, there's just an incredible diversity of different types of businesses, different types of people, I think. And with this, with the Newman property being, right across the railroad track, I think we have an opportunity to bring communities together, to tie things together in a way that not every city has done. And I thought we have the opportunity to do that. If you have this anchor, this mixed-use development, then what you're going to set off, as has happened in Atlanta and other places, is you're going to set off a tsunami of redevelopment, which is going to help everyone and encourage, again, more residential redevelopment in that area. So, and we want, one of the things we're focusing on, I'm working with lots of different developers in that area. I'm trying to focus on the commercial development, but I'm also encouraging Habitat, Communities of Tomorrow, and others to come in there and redo some residential. We'd like to have small cottages, duplexes, apartments. I mean, really have a lot of options for people of all economic levels to be able to participate in. Now, one of the things that has happened with some in the past, like Ponce, if you've been up there, is it's become more and more upscale. But Prague, I think, has done a much better job of staying to its roots. And I think we have the opportunity to do that here. Obviously, we're not Atlanta, so we're not going to become a high-rise, center. So I feel like we have an opportunity here, especially with the number of neighborhoods and the amount of people that can really participate in this, that we can really have something to be proud of from a diversity standpoint. So anyway, moving on, tourism. If you've ever been to Prague or Ponce or any of the other ones, a lot of tourists come from all over to see that. So it adds another thing to our tourism plate, which we continue to add over the years with Great Wolf and other tourist attractions. So having more attractions is only going to make LaGrange even more desirable to live and be something that we can be proud of. And then again, this last slide talks about the residential redevelopment and how that can help all the surrounding neighborhoods and LaGrange as we need more housing, more diverse housing options for all our constituents here. And how do we get there? So this is just a list of that, but I'm going to jump right in. Phase 1 commercial development. I'm working on refreshing the event space and the Newman building as my priority to start out with. And then I'm also working on trying to figure out how we can do infrastructure improvements in that area so that it would encourage investment for others, people who want to own their own business in that area, people who want to invest in that area. And one of those things is parking. Obviously, the parking decks that we've had in the other areas of LaGrange have contributed tremendously to making business easier to be done in those areas. Because one of my challenges at Local Grounds, if you guys have been to Local Grounds, then you know that parking is the biggest issue. If I had more parking, I could do less business. But again, parking, they say that we don't have a parking problem, we have a walking problem. But despite that, parking is part of business and part of infrastructure, and it's important, I think, to have that in the development area where we're like trying to do this. And then there's the opportunity to add green space as well, and I'll show you some more pictures of what we're proposing as we move along here. This is an elevation of an old train depot style. It's modeled after a train depot in Albany, Georgia, and as you can see, it looks like a train depot, and that's good. And here's a three-dimensional concept drawing of it. So what would we do? We have a 19,000 square foot warehouse facility down there right now. And we put a brick veneer and redo the windows and redo the roof on the front and make it a restaurant in the front and then event space in the back that I believe, based on the fire marshal, we could have 250 people in the restaurant and about 650 in the event space. So it's a nice medium-sized event space that could add to our portfolio of being able to host different concerts or larger size events, but not Sweetland large, but somewhere in between, smaller and medium venues. Here's another picture looking from the parking lot over. You'll see the depot station to the left. You'll see the other buildings to the right as you come across the street from the potential parking lot. And here's another view, again, of the depot station on the left. The old Newman warehouse, which we'll go into a little bit later, what the plans are potentially for that. This is an elevation of the Newman building redesign. And you'll see it's got a rooftop terrace level with a canopy and then retail space in the front and office space to the left in the existing space. So Ideal Electric has been using the two-story building already for office space. So we're going to do some cosmetic improvements there, but it's going to be available for office space and it's facing downtown. So I think that refresh is going to reflect well in downtown as we try to kickstart. This is, it's obviously a big project. There's a lot of opportunities to improve there. And it's going to be a multi-year project, and I realize that, and that's what I'm investing in. Even at Ponce, they're still, developing parts of that as well. So it's just one of those multi-year projects, and you eat an elephant one bite at a time, and that's what we're doing with that. So, but anyway, there's the concept art. So as you can see, it pays homage to the historical look, but also updates it and gives it a refresh. So we're going to keep the detail of the Newman construction writing along the side. We're going to add a few trim and paint and some updated windows. And then, of course, the terrace level gives it another accent to the look. This is a view driving down the street from the side of the Newman building with the parking and the other space across the street. This is a picture of what we could do on potentially the bridges underneath there to try to tie that in the south side, because you want it to be inviting, because obviously right now with the railroad track and the roughness of general cleanliness of that area, it's not particularly appealing, but we want to improve that, and this is one option to do that with these mural type things that people find attractive and encourage them to walk in that direction and continue to tie those areas together. Phase 1, 2, residential. So I broke this out into 2 phases, but realistically there may be multiples of that, but we want to mix. You'll see on the left, you'll see a small cottage type house. In the second picture, you'll see a loft kind of area. Another opportunity in this area is because of the neighborhood commercial zoning designation, you can have retail on the bottom and living space on the top. So all those yellow areas over there are zoned for neighborhood commercial. So you could have a 55-foot tall building with living space on top. It could be apartments, could be condos, and then have the retail space, and those can have separate owners. So you can own potentially your spot, even though it's a multi-use building like that. So anyway, a lot of different opportunities that I think we can give it our own flavor and our own, LaGrange twists on things. Phase 2, commercial development. What I'm planning to do is refresh the warehouse, add the rooftop, do the outside courtyards, and then the rail side development. If you'll look everybody can see. This picture right here is one of those overview pictures. But on this side by the rail yard, we're proposing to do a shipping container food court type thing. And they've had those in some places. It's basically a stationary food truck, but you can create a very cool, diverse atmosphere by this one. Actually, you stack 2 containers on top of each other. You can sit up top. So it gives you some small micro businesses the ability, they can own their own container, be here and do a food business that gives us diversity, because I always hear people, there's no diversity of food to eating range, no options. Well, this will give small operators ability to give us some diversity here. We also have the potential for some nicer sit-down restaurants in here, but you have the diversity also of the smaller options here. And this could be a great food-centric thing, much like Prague is very food-centric if you've been there. There's so many options. The worst thing about Prague is you go there and you're like, where do you eat? Because there's so many good options, right? And if you go here, you don't get to have that. So I think we can do something like that here. This is an elevation of the warehouse. It is currently a 2-story structure. It's got a rooftop potential for a restaurant up there that ties into the front of the Newman building, which you saw that picture earlier. This is a elevation or concept from the parking lot view. You'll see the building in the center there along the depot station. This is a view of the shipping container food court type area. You see that there's a food container there with a little rooftop thing, and there's restrooms and different. Then you also see the bridge across the creek. One of the features of that vacant lot right now is there's a creek dividing it, but it makes a good dividing point between parking and, again, that shipping container food court, which fits in with the theme of the rail district, right? When you have things on the rail, you have shipping containers, it goes with the theme and I think flows very well. All right, and then the next slide goes back to that master plan with the different areas as they are now. And here is an overview picture aerial of the area. You see the parking on the left, the depot station restaurant event center up in the top left, the warehouse, which actually has a spot for 6 loft style apartments that I think at this point we're thinking about short-term rentals, so people can come from a tourism standpoint and stay at the rail district and then potentially, enjoy a weekend there with those short-term rentals for those 6. But then on the bottom, there's opportunities for retail, and on the top, an opportunity for a restaurant or other retail as well. And then on the bottom, you see the shipping container food court and park, and then the Newman building in the upper right front there. So to summarize, the benefits of the rail district, as I see them and other members of the community that I've talked to, are obviously enhanced tourism, opportunities for commercial development, extending the downtown development that we're already working on to the next logical conclusion, and then residential development and redevelopment that can improve our community from a living standpoint, because this is going to give more of the opportunity for those walkable communities that I mentioned that I enjoy when I lived in other places, and that I think we've only begun to grasp the opportunities here in the brand. But we have so many good things to offer, and if we could, integrate additional opportunities like this into our lifestyle here, I think it'll be better for us, our children, and our, the tourists that come to see us. So again, to finish, the rail district, that's my name for this area of town. And any questions? Yes, sir.
When we start?
So we've already started. Mike is moving out in the Newman building as we speak. And so we're working on getting it painted, windows replaced, trim. So again, the Newman building is one of the focus points of what we're doing. So we're moving at the pace of construction, which, as you know, weather dependent and people dependent and schedule dependent. So, but it's definitely a priority. Again, I'm looking to have the office space rented shortly because it's already available as office space there. So, and it's going to be facing downtown, so you'll be able to see it from downtown the new property. So. Yes, sir.
I think it's great. By the way, what type of infrastructure needs are you guys thinking that you would yes?
So that's a great question. So let me pull up a picture here. So in the area right now, the power infrastructure was just kind of bolted on and added together. So I've had some initial conversations with the city and others, just how can we get this power underground so that it's easier to manage, more aesthetically pleasing, and makes this area more attractive. That's one thing. The other is, adding a green space to make that an attractive area for people to be. Because in the shipping container food court, for example, there'll be picnic tables and things around so you can actually enjoy the park, but you have food there at the park. So it's kind of mixing those two things. The other thing is parking. That's a big infrastructure requirement. Like the parking decks downtown, those enhance and enable businesses to grow and be positioned downtown. The hotel, for example, wouldn't have been possible without a parking deck, right? Otherwise, the trains going through, as you know, when trains go through a crossing, they're very loud. And so there are actually requirements for housing that you have to have so many decibels low for some of the redevelopment there. But there is a program with CSX where they will do the silent crossing. They charge you a fee, and do a study, and then they'll tell you how much it's going to cost for them to make it a silent crossing, which means basically they won't blow their horns as they go through there, which again would enhance this area as well. The fiber internet infrastructure from the city already goes through there, so that's a good thing from that infrastructure. And then the thread also is a common infrastructure that we could improve to go through there. It's already slated in one of the phases to go through there. I think it's just not the final path. But those are the kind of infrastructure things that, improving that will make it a better place to do business, a better place to live, and enhance this whole area. So, and I'm investing my money in the property, the Newman property, and the other parts of the property, and I'm working with other business owners that are interested in potentially investing in commercial space and doing things in this area. But again, I think support from the city and the community is how do we prioritize, let's improve this infrastructure so that we can, grow on it. So.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
With all the enhancements that are going on, will this encourage gentrification? What will happen to the people who are already living in the neighborhood?
So that's always a question you get, right? So in the marketplaces and such in Atlanta, whenever you do new development, there's always the worry about who's going to be displaced, right? So as I mentioned, where the parking lot and the shipping container are, that's just a vacant lot, and there's nothing on there. There's a lot of vacant lots in this area that are open to residential redevelopment or commercial redevelopment. The Newman property was, already the way it was, and we're going to improve that. And there's such a large area and multiple communities in there for the opportunity for redevelopment. I think it's impossible not to displace some people as you grow, and that's just, that's part of it. But I think working with partners like Communities of Tomorrow and Habitat for Humanity, I think we can, again, because right now a lot of these people in this area are living in substandard conditions. And so this is an opportunity to make it better for everyone. Yes, sir.
I just want to applaud you for doing it because it's a blighted area and it needs to come up. Applaud you for looking in because that will really enhance that area. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's a state opportunity zone and a federal opportunity zone. So it qualifies for other opportunities in that area too. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, so to answer your question, this is a minority focused project for small business. So we are working on it, and we call the Relocation Business Start Program, where we'll take 20 applicants, we'll put them through the community, and they from there take the top 20 applicants, and then after that, we'll go to a 12-week program. We are doing the factory, we got a partner coming alongside us to help teach that program, to get them understanding about business. So we are focusing on the business very entrepreneur. So once they go through the program, we'll take the top 5 applicants, and then each everyone coming alongside us to help them with SBA loan program and all that. So our goal is to make it sustainable for people. There's no need of putting in a business and they don't know how to run business. So that's what we are looking at, and that's what our goal will be. So everything is going everything will be on the website website. And so you, if you are interested in business or residential, anything like that, you can look at the website and look at the updates. We working on a newsletter, so we can have, so we can learn what, how old is each area, and we can know what we are doing. And then we board partners to come up beside, you know, we might be built on every project, and see how every project, or community memorial, it's about, this is a community project, this project is diversity inclusion. We want to bring, you know, both sides of the fence together. To enjoy this project, also, the most important thing is to make. So we are focusing on minorities, and I'm sorry that our entrepreneurs, that we don't, maybe don't have that platforms to be new groups. So there's the part that, you know, where we are currently working on, and there's where, you know, our heart is to make sure that, you know, we have information, and we can do information about it, and what we can do is something else we can.
So, one more thing before we go. So obviously, this is right now on the other side of the tracks, right? If we create this anchor space over there, it will eliminate that other side of the tracks mentality because it's going to flow from the downtown. The tracks become part of the connection. So, and that's our opportunity. Okay, yes.
Yeah. In the original infrastructure bill in Congress a couple years ago was probably not well noted piece for a high-speed rail line connecting with Denver and Atlanta. And when I saw that, I said, hey, really? Of course, it was just one piece of pork in the pork barrel. Right. But my point is, I get to what you're doing, does it impact the current railway in any way at all? Or conversely, does it alleviate, how does it alleviate the barriers that the railway poses?
Well, again, if we can get the silent crossings, that's going to make it less of a noise nuisance for the railroad crossing. And then the thread, if we can cross there with a thread, then again, it's going to tie those together without the railroad being a barrier. It's just part of the, you know, overall terrain, if you will. Did that answer your question or not? It seemed like that may not have answered the question. Yes, sir.
So it's really changes to the road access. That's
so in that area, yeah, in that area, Hamilton Road's already being widened. That's part of what they're already doing. Of course, you can access from the south side of downtown. You can access coming in from Lafayette Parkway.
the road coming off of Hamilton before laying that in.
Yeah, so there's opportunities to tie in and make the flow of that even better. Not that it's bad right now, but we can add as the next term. Yeah.
Trip, I think you had one?
Yes, sir.
So, separate project, but there's still a good bit of interest in Clover, over every year.
Of course.
Really quick update on Clover.
So in Clover, we're excited about that. I'm personally very excited about that. I've been waiting on it for quite a while. As we had two things slowing us down to getting started on that. I call it Coffee Shop World, which tied me up for a little while. But those are running more smoothly now. And then also we applied for the downtown development money from the DCA and Georgia City's fund. And so we were waiting on that. They don't like you to start those projects until you get fully approved. And so we delayed on that, but all that's been approved. And so we've started work. We've got all the plaster out. We're trying to keep as much of the trim as possible. And we're going to try to keep the character wherever possible and then even add back character to the building so that it becomes better than it even was before. One of the things I'm excited about is the patio system on the back. As a lot of you may be aware, the back was never super attractive to begin with. The front was always the facade you saw. So in the back, we're going to have a two-story patio system, which will be very nice. It's going to have a total, including the outside patios, of about 7,700 square feet. So it's going to be a nice size facility with multiple lounges, lots of different places for people to enjoy. We're also planning on doing a pop-up restaurant or restaurant bar thing as a means to let the whole community enjoy it versus just having a private event there. And that'll also build people to want to have their events there. So kind of that's what we're looking to do. Again, like I said, the plaster's been torn out now. We're continuing the fence project, which we prototyped earlier, and that's going to make the view from the gas station not quite as attractive, but anyway, we're working on that. But we're excited, and I have a time frame of trying to get that open by October. So we've got an aggressive timeline. We're going after it, and we've got the right pieces lined up. The supply chain is much better now. Windows used to be 6 months out, and now they're like 6 weeks, so that's going to help us in getting that project done. But so it's going to be an event space, pop-up restaurant. There will also be 2 bedrooms that potentially could be rented as short-term rentals as well, similar to the way the Trip Vanderbilt has their Airbnb option there. And we're trying to make those in the style of a Victorian space as well. So I think everybody's going to be pleased with it. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited about bringing it back to the community because I know it was a landmark in my time. I went to my senior prom there for dinner, and that was where you went when you wanted to have a nice dinner. And so I'm excited about reinterpreting it, but also paying homage to it with the name, keeping the name Inn Clover, because honestly, if we had changed it, everybody would say whatever the old Inn Clover told me, so that would have been useless anyway. So, but yes, that's the status of that project, and I'll be glad to keep everybody informed on that. There's a website, innclover.events, where we're going to be putting updates as well, and Facebook as well, so you'll be seeing updates to that very soon. All right. That's it.
Thank you very much, Philip, and in honor of great appreciation of your speaking today, we'll be making a donation in your honor to Polio Plus, which is Rotary's initiative to eradicate polio worldwide. Next week is a flaming hot presentation by Richard Pryor, the symphony conductor. Nobody gets my jokes, it's okay. The next week is the Star Student. Be sure to stop by. Oh, board, remember we've got a quick vote after this. If you want to see the coins, feel free to come take a look. Thank you. Be sure to say hello to District Governor George. Thank you for being here. If you haven't met him before, you really need to. Be sure to say hi to Kim. Norma? Forever will be Scoop's lady to me, but you'll probably need to learn her name. Also, we have Brent Gibbs, who's a new member, right back here. If you haven't met him, say hi. If you dare, you could come say hi to Luke. But you only know, and everybody. So I think we're done. Board, come up here. Let's have a quick vote.